The first rule of managing your schedule, you gotta know where you gotta go. And when we're talking about back-to-school transitions, there is a very good chance that your school year schedule is going to look very different from your summer schedule. It won't necessarily be more busy or less busy, it will just be different busy. Which is why for this week's Back to School Prep Week, we are going to be talking schedules. From what type of schedule you should choose for your family to what you need to put on that schedule so you can keep track of who needs to be where when. As a bonus, if you are listening to this episode prior to July 31st, 2025, you can join me and other ADHD moms in my community for a free back-to-school body doubling session where you can get your schedule and family calendar in order. You can sign up for this free body doubling session by visiting bit.ly/ADHD back to school. And really quick, before we start talking calendars and schedules, I'd love to take just a minute to introduce myself in case you are new here. My name is Christy Lingo, and I am the ADHD Mompreneur. I'm an executive function and accountability coach for ADHD mom business owners who are looking to run a business and run a family, and I've got experience in both. I started my journey as an entrepreneur in 2009 and my journey as a mom in 2011. I'm also diagnosed with ADHD and the parent of a child with ADHD. To learn more about me and my services, stop by my website at theadhdmompreneur.com. And while you're there, pick up my free essential checklist for ADHD mompreneurs. These fully customizable checklists are designed to cover those regular tasks you encounter as an entrepreneur and may help you remember where you left off or remember all the steps so you don't miss anything. So be sure to stop by theadhdmompreneur.com today to check out my services and pick up your free essential checklists. During any transition time, it can take a family a little bit of time to find their flow and lock in their regular routine. As I said last week, I am just now finally feeling like I am finding my summer rhythm, and here we are starting back to school planning. But I'm not really complaining because I do find knowing my schedule to be incredibly comforting. Sure, my color-coded calendar might look like a box of crayons threw up all over it once I get done adding in all of my school commitments and work commitments and family commitments and sports practices and other activities. But chances are I'm going to be much less likely to miss an important commitment or activity or practice because I know where I'm supposed to be and when I'm supposed to be there. So let's dive into 3 simple steps that you can take to make sure you know who needs to be where when and stay on top of those school year schedules. Up first, pick a family calendar style. There are probably as many calendar style options out there now as there are different types of activities for your kids to participate in. But the great news is there's not really a right or wrong method when it comes to keeping track of your family's schedule. But you do need to decide on a method that works best for your family. It might be a shared digital calendar or a paper calendar hanging in your kitchen. Maybe everyone has their own planners and you schedule weekly meetings so that everyone can coordinate and get on the same page. Or maybe you want to invest in one of those life management systems that allows you to keep track of everyone's schedules and chores and rocket launches they're participating in. It could very well be a combination of all of the things I've mentioned so far. The most important thing is to decide on a calendar method that will work for everyone in your family and then to communicate how everyone is going to keep that calendar up to date so you know who needs to be where when. Once you've decided how you're going to keep track of schedules, it's time to add the schedules to your calendar. At a bare minimum, you are going to need to add to this family calendar when the school year starts, when the breaks are, and when those random teacher in-service days are throughout the year. And trust me, your ADHD brain is going to say something to you like, You don't need to know when President's Day is in February or when spring break is in April. It's so far away, you've got time. But your ADHD brain lies. Because 10 weeks from now, are you really going to remember exactly when your holiday breaks are or when that random teacher professional development day is in January? That's why you should take some time today or in the very near future to look up your school's calendar and add that to your family calendar. Once you're done with the school year calendar, go ahead and gather up any activity or sports schedules for your family and add those to your family calendar as well. Again, your brain may try to tell you something like, Tuesdays and Thursdays are always soccer practice. I don't have to put those on the schedule. And again, your brain is lying. Because having recurring lessons or activities or practices or events on your family calendar not only shows you who needs to be where when, it also shows you where the overlap may be if you have multiple kids in multiple activities. And it also helps with our final scheduling step, create a basic weekly framework. When you have kids and those kids have activities, there are bound to be some nights that are going to be a bit more hectic than others, which is why I suggest creating a basic weekly framework for your family's schedule so you can see which nights suck a little and which nights suck a lot. This framework is also key if you're trying to plan one-off activities or find time to work in the evenings or plan meals according to which nights you're available and how long you have to prepare them. And that's a wrap on today's back-to-school scheduling tips. I hope that I've given you some helpful nuggets that can help you get on top of your schedule before this next school year takes off. And don't forget, if you would like to put today's scheduling steps into action, you can join me on Thursday, July 31st, 2025 at 4 p.m. Eastern or 1 p.m. Pacific for a free back-to-school body doubling session. I'll be there entering in my school dates and soccer practices and swim meets because I know that if I do not set aside specific time to do this, I will not do it. So be sure to stop by bit.ly/ADHD back to school and join me this Thursday for a free back to school body doubling session. And if you haven't yet liked, followed, or subscribed to the ADHD Mompreneur, do it now so you don't miss week 3 of my back to school prep series, which I'm calling Task and Time Week. We'll be discussing how to go about fitting in all those blocks that many of us ADHD mompreneurs need to find time for in our schedules, but often overlook because we don't make specific time for it. Until then, keep making your ADHD journey part of your success story. If you're a business-owning mom with ADHD, you're going to need to grab my free, customizable essential checklists for ADHD mompreneurs by visiting bit.ly/checklists for ADHD mompreneurs or by following the link in the episode description. Do it now before you forget. Until next time,